say to the wonderful Seasick Jackson!
Seasick Jackson!
Please make some noise for Seasick Jackson! Seasick Steve!
Yeah! Seasick Jackson!
Hello! First of all, not that it matters, but this is not my house and these are not my clothes. So, this is a vlog about starting stand-up comedy. Last year I made a video called Starting Stand-up Comedy in which I showed you my first 3 gigs ever. The first one was the showcase at the end of a comedy course I did at a place called City Academy. The second one was an open mic in central London, and the third one was in a place called Up the Creek in Greenwich. They do this thing called the Blackout every Thursday night, in which 20 new comedians attempt to do a 5-minute set, but you only have like a 2-minute grace period, and then after that there's 3 members of the audience who have like white cards, and if they all raise them, your set is over, the lights go off, and that's why it's called the Blackout. The thing is that most comedians that night didn't pass. And guess who was the first act of the night? I was. And it was only my 3rd gig ever. I think the whole point of the Blackout is just for the audience to have a good time and to bully the acts. It's not really for the acts to enjoy themselves. And I think it was basically suicide to have that as my 3rd gig and also to be the first act of the night. That didn't help. Because if you're going to a show called the Blackout, certainly the first act is gonna get the Blackout. Saying that, I have booked the Blackout again, so I will be doing it in about a month, and I'll let you know how it goes. Now, after I did my first 3 gigs, I was a little bit disappointed, especially after the Blackout. And then I went away for a while because I work as a musician on cruise ships. So I spent a lot of my time at sea. And even though I do a bit of comedy in my shows, it's not a stand-up show, and also it's a cruise ship, so you always have to be family friendly. On my last ship, I was doing quite a bit of that actually, because I was playing this venue once a week where everyone just listens to the music and have a great time, and their attention is completely focused on you. So I was doing quite a bit of stand-up. Sometimes I would tell a story, but always related to the songs that I'm playing. Also, when I work on cruise ships, I have a lot of free time because I'm a musician, so I only work for a few hours in the evening, but I've got all day to myself. So, what I started doing last year is writing. I started writing a lot, and I wrote a book. So, the book is called Thoughts I Should Have Kept to Myself, a collection of stories, reflections, and inappropriate jokes. And you can find it on Amazon. Have you ever self-published a book on Amazon? It's amazing, you should do it. So basically, you just write a book and then you submit it and that's it. And then if people buy it, Amazon does all the work, like they print it and they send it to them, and you get, like for example, my book is £10, so the printing cost is £2.50, and then I get like £3.50, and then the rest is for Amazon. But I don't have to do anything. And even if you just want to have it yourself, you don't want to sell it or anything, you can do that. Because there's nothing like seeing your own work in print. And also, if you're going to do that, I suggest you do what I did, which is hiring a professional graphic designer, because there's only so much you can do with Canva or things like that. And they really know what they're doing. Like, look at this cover. Isn't it beautiful? That's me busking at Piccadilly Circus, because that's what I've been doing for many years. And also there's a cruise ship because I work on cruise ships. There's Sigmund Freud because I do talk a lot about therapy and psychoanalysis and things like that. There's a plane because I moved from Argentina to London when I was 21. And the book is basically a collection of stories and reflections, always making fun of, well, me basically, and the things that happened to me, and making fun of other people, making fun of everything basically. It's a comedy book. Every chapter is basically a stand-up comedy set, but of course changing the tone a bit so it feels more like a book, but it could easily be adapted to a stand-up comedy set. And now I'm back in London, so I have been doing quite a few open mic gigs because they say doing gigs is basically the only way in which you're gonna get good, right? Like you need practice, you need stage time. It is also fair to say that I have been a professional musician for 10 years now, and I'm basically on stage every day. like literally every day, especially on the cruise ships. So I do have a lot of stage experience, and I don't get nervous on stage or anything like that. But I don't have experience as a stand-up comedian, so of course I do need all the experience I can get. Open mics are weird. I love them and I hate them at the same time. I love them because they're very easy to book, and it's a great way to gain experience as a comedian, which is what I need at this stage. But at the same time, I hate them because there's not really an audience when you do an open mic. It's just the other comedians waiting to do their show. And we're not the best audience because we're just thinking about our set. We're like going through our jokes in our minds, and yeah, it's not the same as having an audience. With music, for example, I don't really care if I'm playing for 3 people or if I'm playing for 300 people. But with comedy, it makes a huge difference if the audience is on your side and if you have a strong audience response. I always film my sets. Of course, I have a tripod and a camera, and I put it somewhere near the stage. If there's a stage. I mean, most of the times there's no stage. And I record my set, mostly because I want to see what I can improve, but also if I happen to get a nice clip, I can post it on social media, and I can potentially use that set to apply for like proper gigs one day. The thing is that I'm not sure if I could use those clips to apply to proper gigs at some point, because if the audience response is really shit, then I don't know if that looks very good. So for the last 2 weeks, I have been doing so many open mics. I did one called Manners and Mash, which is in Dalston in East London. But yeah, growing up with a lazy eye wasn't fun. You know, the kids at my school looked at me like I landed from a different planet or something. I mean, I don't blame them. Even my eye took one look at my life and tried to leave. It's a room above a pub, and that's a really nice room. The guy who runs it is really nice. His name is Ben, and I made friends with so many nice comedians. But saying that, it was just us. He says he usually runs a bringer night, which means you have to bring someone with you, which I find really tricky because it might not be their idea of fun. So yeah, I don't tend to do bringer gigs, which means I end up going to the ones where there's hardly anyone there. But that one was actually one of my favorites I did. Then I did one called the Billionaires Comedy Club. This one was quite strange because it was at a restaurant, but not like a separate room. It was like actually in the restaurant. So we had to start 1 hour late because there was a table with kids. So we were waiting for the kids to fuck off so we could do our show, because of course we swear and everything. So we started 1 hour late. At the time that I'm recording this, the Football World Cup is on, and we were doing the open mic, and there was a game on. I think it was Australia and Egypt. And they started doing penalties right when I did my 5 minutes. How could I be so unlucky? It was so distracting. It wasn't even an important match. It was Australia and Egypt. It wasn't like Argentina and France. Thank you for coming. Okay. Do you know the song Can't Take My Eyes Off You?
Yeah.
I used to feel a bit self-conscious singing it because I used to have a lazy eye. It's true, yeah. But now I had surgery and my doctor said I can sing it. Yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake. Saying that, the crowd was actually really nice, so I had a great time. Then I did one called Healing in Ealing, and it was at a hotel. It was a separate room just for the comedy in a basement. It was really nice. The only thing is that I felt like the energy in that room was super low. But still, I met some nice people and it was a great experience. So, I'm from Argentina. I know what you're thinking. Argentinian, white as fuck. His grandfather was a Nazi. He wasn't, no. Actually, the only thing I've got in common with Hitler is my birthday. We were both born on the 20th of April, or 420 if you're a stoner. Yeah, it's crazy. I was born the same day. Stoners and Nazis come together to celebrate. The sets that I was doing were two, basically. So one is all about being a musician, and the other one is about having a lazy eye and having an eye surgery to fix it. I have so many sets written, but I've heard that you have to do them many times to actually improve them. It's not like, oh, you write it, you do it once, good, you move on. No, you have to do the same set many times to get good. Then I did another gig in Elephant and Castle. This one was strange as well because it was at a bar, but the bar wasn't open, so they opened it for us basically. And it was just us, 10, 12 blokes doing comedy. And the funny thing is that you keep running into the same people at the different open mics, which is great because it's like a little sense of community. This one had a problem with the microphone, which made a very loud, very annoying noise, like But I love being a musician. It gives you a lot of freedom. When I want to eat, I eat. When I want to sleep, I sleep. When I want to fuck, I sleep. I wish that was a joke. I'm actually writing a song about my sex life. It's a very short song. And then I did one more at a place called Vaulty Towers near Waterloo Station. The room was one of the nicest, actually. The only problem was that they did another show, another comedy show. Two guys that were practicing their show for Edinburgh. They did the show at 7:30, which is the time our open mic was supposed to start. So we had to start around 8:30 because they told us they usually have an audience, which is strange for an open mic, but they said that they usually have an audience, just not this time because we started a lot later than usual. Great. But still, the venue was nice and the people running the open mic were really nice as well. I met some nice comedians, and for this one I tried a different set. I tried a set about being from Argentina. Because I went to this comedy show called Immigrant Comedy Night, so it was basically comedians from other countries who live here in the UK, and they mostly talk about that, you know, like where they're from and when they moved to the UK and all that. And I was like, hey, I mean, I qualify. I'm from another country. I live here. I could talk about that. So I thought maybe I record myself doing a set about being from Argentina, which I've already written ages ago, and I can send it to them. The thing is that as it was an open mic, the audience response was very shy, very quiet, and I don't know if that makes me look good or not. And yet Argentinians are very proud. We're not very popular in South America. They say the best way to kill yourself is to climb up an Argentinian person's ego and jump off. When I was a kid, I was also in the Scouts. And as you can imagine, one of our leaders was a massive pedo. Sorry, Locato, you want to say that?
So I like it.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, one of our leaders was a massive pedo. But of course, he only had eyes for the good-looking kids. Yeah. I was in the Scouts for 6 years, didn't get molested once. Imagine how I felt. I wasn't Catholic, but I started going to church. I was like, surely I'll get molested there. Fucking nothing. And then I did another comedy course, which is probably not like super necessary at this point because I've done one already and there's only so much they can teach you about comedy, I guess. But it was with the same teacher I did last time, just a different course, like the next level. And I really enjoyed it. So it was a nice experience. And at the end of that course, we had a showcase, which was really nice. And I asked the teacher if I could do 10 minutes instead of 5 because I've never done a 10-minute set. And she said yes. And I did my 10-minute set. The first half was all about being a musician and the second half was all about my lazy eye. And I think it went really well and I'm very happy with it. Having a lazy eye didn't make dating any easier. You try to make eye contact and you accidentally create a love triangle. First dates were a nightmare. My biggest fear was that they thought I was looking at them in an inappropriate way when I was just reading the menu. So now I think I could potentially use this 10-minute video to try and get nicer gigs, not necessarily paid because I'm probably not ready yet, but maybe like open spots or tryout spots, I think they're called something like that, which is like a proper show with other comedians who are getting paid. You're not getting paid, but you get to play the same venue, so that would be nice. And I wonder how you apply to those, but I reckon having a good video is essential. At least that's how it works in music. So now I think I've got one. The audience response wasn't like super loud, Like my first gig ever, we had so many people, so they laughed so much at my jokes. It was amazing. You developed a sixth sense as a busker. You're like, ooh, if I play Stand By Me for this man, he might give me a 20. If I play a Taylor Swift song for this girl, I might get her number. Sometimes you just don't know. You're like, is he gonna give me a fiver or shit in my guitar case? Compared to that, this one wasn't so strong, but I think I did a better job, so I think that counts more than the audience response. I don't know. I mean, what do I know? I'm just guessing. I also attended a lot of comedy shows as a civilian, as an audience member. So yeah, that's really fun because you can learn from the pros. Also, I watch comedy from home, but it's not the same. It's good to be in the clubs, and especially here in London, there's so many good clubs. So I went to the Backyard Comedy Club, which I've never been before, and I've seen it on YouTube. So I thought I gotta try it, and it's not even far from where I am. And it was really cool. And then I went to Angel Comedy as well, quite a few times. They have 2 venues. Oh, and another thing I did, Angel Comedy is not just a comedy club, but it's like a community. So it's like made by comedians, for comedians. And they do this thing every Sunday called Comedy Writing Gym. And it was really good because we practiced our writing and they gave us some tips. And then after that, we went to the pub. So yeah, it's a great way not just to practice your writing, but also to meet other comedians. I have a few more weeks before my next cruise ship contract, and I'm gonna try and make the most of them, doing as many gigs as I can. If you wanna check out my stand-up comedy shows, go to my YouTube channel. I have a few there. And also you can buy my book. I leave the link in the description, but this is probably gonna get like 5 views, so I don't actually expect anyone to buy my book. Right, thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.